So there were a lot of unanswered questions, and there were also very clear breaches in the protocol that needed to be followed. So that's one dimension. The IEDs that are discovered are actually IEDs between 25 kg and 40 kg. The one that was used in this particular attack, again intelligence reports say, was around 40 kg. So clearly the pattern is shifting, and that means that the response also needs to differ, and that's the second dimension. The third dimension is that there are no easy solutions to tackle this problem. The big news this week, and it's tragic news, was the attack on Dantewada in Chhattisgarh, where a team of Chhattisgarh police was ambushed by Maoists. And it is tragic for a variety of reasons. The loss of people who serve this country, the loss of people who protect this country is always tragic. But this was also an accident that needs to be seen in three dimensions. So I'm going to try and break it up this week. The first dimension, of course, is to look at the processes and the protocols that are in place in insurgent afflicted regions and whether these were followed. Because India has been fighting the Maoists for decades, and there are very clear rules, there are very clear protocols, there are very clear standard operating procedures on what can be done and what cannot be done. And the unfortunate aspect in this case was that there were a lot of gaps in the processes that were followed, including the fact that a private vehicle was used, which is just not allowed, including the fact that there was no road clearing party, including the fact that there was no group that went ahead because the explosive device, the improvised explosive device was detonated remotely, and intelligence later showed that 3 of the Maoists had stayed back to effect the attack. So if you'd had that team in place, you could have detected them. And then fourth, very, very unclear as to how in a newly laid road a device like this could be buried. So there were a lot of unanswered questions, and there were also very clear breaches in the protocol that needed to be followed. So that's one dimension. The second dimension is what the Maoists themselves are doing. On one side is the reality on the reducing number of attacks, the fact that a lot of Maoists have surrendered or that a lot of them have been killed. So the official reports of a reduction in left-wing extremist violence in this country are actually true. It has reduced, and it has reduced significantly. But what this has also done is it made the Maoists more desperate, perhaps. So if you look at the nature of this attack, it's different because it showcases an emerging trend in how attack patterns are happening. Previously, many of the Maoist attacks used to be guerrilla battles using rifles, groups of people. And when they used IEDs, they used IEDs of much lower weight, which means obviously much lower impact, 5 to 10 kgs. But over the last 12 months, the kind of seizures that have been made, the IEDs that have been discovered, and every discovered IED is a huge accident that's prevented. The IEDs that are discovered are actually IEDs between 25 kg and 40 kg. The one that was used in this particular attack, again intelligence reports say, was around 40 kg. So clearly the pattern is shifting, and that means that the response also needs to differ, and that's the second dimension. The third dimension is that there are no easy solutions to tackle this problem. I think India should continue to do what it has always done. I think the Home Ministry should continue to do what it has always done, which is to focus on both development and on enhancing the security forces in these areas, increasing their capabilities so that they can tackle this problem. This road, interestingly, was one of the 3 roads that was meant to take development to hitherto untouched parts of Dantewada, and it was supposed to break the back of the Maoists. So it is not surprising that there has been a backlash. But this is something that the state government as well as the center has to try to do. It has to take development to these parts of the country so that they can tackle this.